afterwards, Mr. Dinesh Pareja will address us. And I think today we will have finally some time for questions as well, so please prepare some good questions. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. We had a lot of people yesterday. I thought I'd shock everybody and make people come over and see me in my dress. So, while we get ready, I just like, I'm Dinesh Pareja. I'm basically into information security consulting and advisory services. I have had the privilege and opportunity of having worked with for 2 years with Jharkhand Police as a cybersecurity advisor when they set up the CDRC. And over the years, I worked with large enterprises and governments, not much more in India, but a couple of countries abroad. I do believe that, I do have the knowledge or the information to share which could be of value to the audience out here. And of course, it's a privilege. And as usual, every year, I've been here for the last 3-4 years. And it's always been a privilege to address the fraternity which turns out from the police, the law enforcement, as well as the ethical hacking community. Like Rahul, my friend, who just spoke about stuff. So while he sets it up, I'd just like to mention, so when he sets it up, I thought, frankly, I was sitting over there, Rahul was struggling with the laptop. I was thinking that Rahul was struggling. And I've given him my presentation, so I don't have to struggle. But it seems it happens. And this is usually, so you normally stand up and say, I will introduce myself. I'm not trying to waste my time or your time. While everything is setting up, I'd just like to draw your attention to a few talks which happened today earlier, like Mr. Pradhan. He talked about, he asked the audience a question about, upcoming cloud services and stuff like that. And the audience was pretty silent on that. Nobody sort of said or acknowledged the fact that this is in the future. So I'd just like to add to what Mr. Pradhan said, that technology, so computers are going to be wearable and blowable. So in the law enforcement, we are using drones nowadays. So we know that there are driverless flying objects, identified flying objects. And incidentally, there are driverless cars also, which Google has got. And they are licensed in a few states in the US. So you can imagine what's happening over there. Wearable technology, if you had seen Rahul Rovit was here earlier, wearing his Google Glass and strutting around the place. Okay. Blowable, that's another thing. So we have nanoparticles, you can program them for a certain single function. The function may be just like it rides on you and it talks to just one receiving base. There are so many things. I'll talk about dangers coming up ahead later in the presentation. Then there was another couple of points. Like Daniel talked about dual criminality, privacy laws, time, talked about the need for digital experts who will specialize in investigation or in handling evidence. A big problem with all departments in India. And I don't say it's just India, it's global. So I'll start off on what I'm doing. It's basically what I'm talking about is pain and prizes. We all of you have got pain, whatever work you're doing, especially in the cyber security arena. There are prizes at the end of the rainbow, of course. And there is a lot of pride and prejudice which is there and needs to be overcome also. This is of course the topic of our panel, Enhancing Collaboration. What I will be covering is an indicative list of problems. Okay? This is not a definite list, so if you find some things missing, please feel free to let me know during or afterwards. You're welcome. And the whole part and the whole reason of having an indicative list is, of course, you all know we don't have that much time, and the list is huge. It's not just big. Looking at some cliches, we just do some general warm-up. World is a global village. How many times have you heard that for the last 10, 15 years? So it just keeps on there. Level playing field. We talked about business having a level playing field, but actually there's a level playing field, criminals and cops. There are non-existent borders. We live with the fact that we have to get a visa to go there or a visa to go here. Get on the net, you don't need no visa to go any place, to do anything, whether it's ethical or unethical. Anonymity, passé. We thought we had anonymity, but it's passé. If anybody does think he or she can be private, have a private life, well, I would like to know how to do that. So if you have anonymity like doors, things like door or whatever being compromised, I don't think it exists. It's just about being responsible, and a word was used yesterday, which I use very often, it's called hygiene. Another word I use very often is common sense. So just keep those 2-3 things in mind, and I think we should be safe, more or less. So there's more to cybercrime under the hood. I have a few eye-openers as a word. This is supposed to be the Kali Yuga. Okay? For those of you who are not from India, maybe Kali Yuga is the current age, at the end of which we are supposed to all get exterminated. But I call it the Aaj Yuga, today. It's just the bottom line, top line, or middle line. Any line is very simple. It's big business, highly profitable, highly profitable. You could do a Flipkart in half the time or less than that. And it doesn't make a difference whether that crime is ethical or unethical. I've had Don and others who are in the judicial business as well as law enforcement people who have been talking earlier. Crime can be ethical or crime can be unethical. We have Rahul, who is an ethical hacker, and I always keep joking to these guys that you call yourself an ethical hacker. So who told you that you are ethical? It just takes a small shove to cross the grey line. And in English I would call it grey line. In Hindi I would say Lakshman Rekha. So legal crimes, let us say, the IT Act in India requires you to have reasonable security in place. So if I have an ISO 27001 certification, I say I have reasonable security in place and I can convince the judge that I have it in place. But I can buy an ISO 27001 certificate for $1,000 in 48 hours. So, do I have reasonable security? I may not have a single document in place, but I have a certificate hanging on my wall. And nobody in the world can refute that because it is a accredited body which has given me the certificate. Then, we see all sort of disclosures coming out of the US. I don't see anything happening in our part of the world or in many other parts of the world. So is it what? What would you call it? Collusion? Abetment? Or shame? That if I am got hacked, why can't I make a disclosure? The point being that, okay, even if it's a government department that gets hacked, why can't I make a disclosure? A few years back, the CBI website was just defaced. They didn't do it up for 3 months. And from what I've heard is that there was discussions going on, who will do this, or why did it happen? Come on, there is a reputation at stake. Of course, things have changed in the last 2 or 3 years, but what do you say about that? Complaints are dropped. There is an informal investigation. Again, who is to blame? Is the law enforcement? Will you take the responsibility or not? Big questions. If I say, see, it's like if I start a fire and I come and tell you, so who's going to, and you say, okay, now we know how the fire started, so let's forget it. We know how the guy died, let's forget it. You don't do that. So if somebody has lost money, that money may not belong to him. He's a public listed company or a government department. The money doesn't belong to the guy who lost it. So it's a different world. It's changed and it's still changing. It will keep changing until the day it's like this dimension is such, everybody seems to understand it, nobody seems to know what it is. It's the old thing about 5 or 6 guys trying to tell you what the elephant looks like. The blind people, sorry. And are they giving kiss? Not at all. Another eye opener. It's not a good. See, I'm sort of on a different track right now. Because I say it's not a concern. It's not, I don't consider it going out exponentially. But it's concern because of stress disorders which are bound to come in for you guys. When you are unable to follow case, you know things are going wrong, you know somebody has done wrong, you know the guy who it is, and you can't carry it to closure. So that's why I said, we don't want to talk about capacity, capability, challenges, products, technologies. No, it's just a conversation of the collaboration part of it. So what do you need? You need to break away from conventional thinking. It is not conventional policing. And until you don't think in different terms, you're lost. You move at speed much more faster than even writing on the paper. Or maybe you don't even need to type something, you just have to be on the phone right away, or on Skype, or on WhatsApp. How secure are these modes of communication is something you have to investigate before you really take it up. There's one department in the country which uses WhatsApp, and that was very heavily covered in the newspaper. And the same paper had an article about vulnerabilities in WhatsApp. Everybody knows about Xiaomi phones, which was just sold in 5 seconds or 10 seconds off every single online store. But did anybody read the fact or the POC which was given the next day about what it is doing? I don't know. Move at speed, empower team members. So we talk about training right from top to bottom, but do we empower this guy? I do projects, okay? I'm leading a project, but I can't be at 10 minutes at the same time. So I always build a hierarchy right to the bottom. Even the guy who is just a delivery or a fresher, he or she is also empowered. Do this, don't ask me, don't wait for me. Accept the reality. Accept the fact that you have to be transparent. So how can we do this? We collaborate, adopt the open source philosophy, give unconditionally. The good will always come back to you. Again, go back to the Bhagavad Gita. It says, Nishkaram, just give. Don't ask for it anything in return. It comes back. It is bound to come back. Share. Share your expertise. That's how every single guy, that's how, or anybody whom you have heard over here or who have interacted to, that is how every one of these guys has learned. They have not learned anything in the university. They have all learned it in the school of hard knocks. Simple. And they are still learning, and they will keep learning. And I'm sure a lot of you also have been learning the same way. So you go to do a XYZ program for 5 days. You think in 5 days or 10 days you can become a hacker and know everything about the business? No, you can't. You wouldn't even know the first 10-20% of the whole business. So you do, you collaborate, you share, you benefit of course with all that, and you succeed. So I'll get back to the topic actually. This is just, I will give a preamble. I'm already out of time. So, okay, this is the pain. Inability to continue. All these have been talked about earlier. The lack of knowledge of modus operandi. Somebody got hacked and he didn't disclose. I I'm not asking you to disclose what you lost. I'm not asking you to disclose how much money you have. I'm not asking you to disclose anything. Just disclose what happened and how it happened, that's all. What do you lose? It'll help 100 other people to understand what the modus operandi was, how did it happen. And the community can build up defenses, but no. MLAT, everybody talks about MLAT, yes, it's a very common thing to be used. Carrier pigeons were faster. What's this? Global pain, too many stakeholders, every single country which is involved, every single law enforcement agency which is involved. The process is convoluted, long and frustrating, trained manpower. There's constraints on that. And finally, tone at the top. I want to do this, the boss says no. It happens in enterprise, it happens in government. The first thing in enterprise when I go in, we ask for the information security policy to be signed by the director. And that is what takes the most time. So tone at the top, unless there is total buy-in and driving from the top manager, from the top boss, things don't move. And the biggest problem in LEA is that the transfer system. So you get transferred, you put in a new kind of initiative, things are going good, you get transferred. From my perspective, this is a normal cycle of a cybercrime investigation. You have the crime, you have a report, you identify the modus operandi, you start the investigation, you obtain the evidence, boom, you discover an IP address. Domestic, yes, you can do something, there's still hope. International, you stop the investigation, you file papers, you start doing that big shot. Nothing happens, go home. Nothing will happen. So you hit the roadblock and just go home. Why stress yourself? Yeah. The solution is collaboration. A central agency can act as a clearinghouse in the domestic state. And there's a directory of primary intermediary organizations or providers, the relationships with LEA and CERT across the world. You share advisories, crime information, profiles, modus operandi, whatever. And how can this work? It can work maybe this way. I don't say it's a solution, it's a thought. For many of the talks which I have heard talk about centralized crime control, cyber crime control agencies. There is one which was set up in Jharkhand, and we have the central thing coming up in Kochi, the Cyberdome. So Cyberdome, I would take it as an example today of an agency which can take that sort of responsibility, get the Indian LEA at least together, and if it doesn't work internationally, at least it works at home. Today there are 29 plus states, the UTs and all that. There are number of different agencies in intelligence, domestic as well as foreign. Everybody does his own thing. Nobody knows what the other guy is doing. So, that's a price. Single window communication, credibility established, judicial acceptability, quick resolution, and no more pain. But charity is at home. So, like I said, we put the system together for home, and then we can extend it. Cyberdome can bring all the states. A lot of states are here. Maybe you guys can just go back, sign a piece of paper and then go back. It would be a great thing. And like, there could be, we then talked about standard systems, how does it go, and when you have emergency requests and whatever. And people who can't communicate properly, we do know that English is not the first language for many many people in the force. It comes to a central agency, they refine what's written, they can do a much better job, things can come back faster. The pride and prejudice part of it is, okay, why should I share my information? Because this is what we are thinking right now. When you have, interdepartmental issues. It's my idea. And I would like to say it's not just the departmental, I would not say that, but that sort of exists even in private sector, forget the public sector. The medal is mine. I'm the one who should get the raise, not the guy. So this was to be my moment of glory. So at present, these are few who are working from the private sector. And of course, there are many other majors. Yeah. Sorry. So the problem, cross-border crimes, non-availability of information, no proactive policing. The dangers, Internet of Things. Do all of you know about the Internet of Things? The concept? Everything is going to be connected. You have smart homes, you have smart meters, you have smart grid, you have smart cars, your aeroplanes are smart, your check-in is smart. Everything is smart. We are the only duds who are around the place. We don't understand why it has become smart. And so we continue to wallow in our ignorance, feeling very nice about the whole thing. Dissatisfied young geeks. The easy availability of mal tools. Mal, right from $5, $20, you can do whatever in the world. Easy availability of targets. And then you have that my daddy's strongest attitude. Nothing can hurt me, my daddy is the strongest. There are more dangers, logic bombs, data theft, there's a big list. Final eye open. A second is born every minute and will be born till infinity. And a fool will continue to be parted with money. So we have 419 scams, lottery scams in different variants which flourish till date. Every area, every police station has those guys who walk in and say, "Mera paisa lut gaya." And nobody can get their money, whether it's black, white, or whatever. And they all add to the burden of the area by participating as victims or perpetrators. This is me. I lead information security. Welcome. Any questions? I'll just go back, and my time was up. We went back. So, thank you very much.
That was Mr. Dinesh Obareja, the renowned security evangelist. Next speaker is Mr. Ricky Rajkumar.